Hello, HyddenWell farmers. Toodaloo. Like my new Wayne Supply hat. Got that from David Licklider and Lisa Licklider for pasture gift, I guess. Or they had too many of them and had to get rid of them. I don't know which, but I like my new hat. Looks cool. Anyway, thought I would start off with a story. I know I talk a lot about things that happened a long time ago. But this is a horse story. In veterinary school, there is a drug that we use to sedate horses a lot. It's called rompum xylazine. It's a very powerful sedative, muscle relaxer, analgesic. I mean, it's got a lot of applications in veterinary medicine, especially equine medication. If memory serves me right, and I'd have to look it up, but I think it's like an alpha-2 antagonist or something of that nature. But regardless of its pharmacokinetics, this particular drug is to be given IV or in the muscle. And you mix it typically with something like acepromazine or something like that to really get them nice and drunk, keep their feet on the ground, and that way you can work on them. They're nice and calm, there's no fear. It's used for pain medication because it also will calm them down, and it's just really been shown to be a good product. But in veterinary school, you always heard the horror stories. If you get rompin in the carotid artery, the horse will have a seizure, rear back, and die. And they stress this a lot. And they talk about it all the time. But the jugular vein is very superficial on a horse's neck. It's what most veterinarians draw blood out of, and they go about their business very well. To hit the carotid artery is very hard to do. It's got a lot of blood pressure, because the heart's just pushing blood right through it. It's an artery that goes to the brain, so it's got this really thick membrane around it, and it's buried deep in that jugular furrow. You got to go in that sucker to hit the carotid artery. It's not just the body protects it very, very well. And in my mind, I've never seen it, never heard of it happening other than veterinary school. And in my mind, I'm always thinking it's impossible. They tell you about this stuff. If you see blood squirting, you're in the artery, pull back out, and all that kind of stuff. Well, enter the, I don't know how I ever put it, the Forrest Gump of veterinary medicine. Moi. I went out on a horse call in Arkansas. I'd been practicing about 3 years out there. And I can't remember the fella's name, but he was such a nice guy. And he had like 9 horses. He wanted me to castrate 4 of them. He wanted me to float their teeth. And he had this one that was just, he needed her teeth floated, but she was just really kind of, hard to deal with, especially when it comes to head stuff. I had no trouble pulling up the rompum. And I was just going to give her half dose just to take the edge off so that I could float her teeth, file down the points that were cutting her jaw, making her lose feed. That's called floating teeth. Go look that up. And I had all my tools and stuff. Had a great day. Everything was going fine. And I gave that shot to that horse. And time stopped. Because I saw, as I was standing there giving it and I was looking at the horse, I saw its eye dilate. And I saw it roll back in the top of its head. And I saw its jaw in slow motion go just like this. And textbook, dude, that horse reared up, went completely on its back, and started having massive seizures. And it was a shaking and going on and everything like that. And the owner is like, what in the world? And it's out. When you give it in the artery like that, dude, they go asleep. It knocks their brain out. And 99% of the time they die. That's why veterinarians carry a product called yohimbine. It's the reversal agent for that. And I just happened, on the truck that I was carrying, I had a bottle of yohimbine. I pulled that stuff up and I ran over there and I jugged that horse, I think, with about 30 cc's of yohimbine, just hoping it would get in the brain. And she's barely breathing. She's gasping for breath. Her eyes are fixed and dilated. There's no response. I was like, I just killed this horse. And this guy's standing there like, what? What's going on? What happened? What's going on? You know, and he's in a panic. I'm in a panic. And as I'm giving her this reversal agent, she starts blinking. She's laying there for a few minutes, and she has a bowel movement, and she's peed, and she starts doing this little shaky thing like this. So I ran over to the truck. I gave her some anti-inflammatories like Banamine. I gave her some Banamine IV. I think I even gave her B12. I think I gave her everything on my truck outside of euthanasia solution. Excuse me for the hiccup. So while she was laying on the ground, I got sweat running down. He looks at me and says, well, you want to go ahead and float her teeth? And I kind of looked at him and I was thinking, sure. So, I mean, I really was convinced that this horse was dead and wasn't going to come out of it, although she was improving at this point. I went over and got my tools, and he pulled her head up, held her by the ears. I pulled her tongue out, and I floated all. I probably did the best job on that horse because there was no jaw tone. There was no fighting. There was nothing. I stayed at that farm until that horse was up on its belly. And I'm not kidding you, it was 2.5 hours. Horse made a full recovery. It was all done. He asked me what happened. I said, all I can tell you is that I had to have injected that product in the carotid artery. I didn't think that was even possible. But Forrest Gump Smith gave that horse an IV shot of xylazine and rompin. Only me. But it turned out good. And if there's a moral to the story, is that nothing's dead till it's dead. If it can happen, it will. And always be prepared. That's the Boy Scout motto. God bless. Have a great day. All right, folks, HyddenWell farmers, the rabbit tractor has been in use for a week now. One of the very unique things about rabbits is they are scavengers. When horses eat, and then cattle eat, and then sheep and goats eat, whatever's left behind, that's what rabbits eat. They thrive on that kind of stuff. And so the only place that they couldn't get to the underlying grass is the middle, right down through here where their little shelter is, because they can't get to that on the bottom. But if you'll see, there's two tracks coming right down through here, and those rabbits have eaten all of the debris on the ground, and they are heavy. They're clean, they're happy, and they're doing very, very, very well. Say hi, guys. Okay, rabbits don't talk, so they can't say hi, guys. But they have grown unbelievable. They're doing really, really well. Tickled to death for them. And have a lot more freedom. They do have a wire thing, of course. They're huge holes. If they wanted to escape, if this thing was, they could go right through it. But for the most part, they're not on any wire or anything of that nature. Doing really good. Some things just come together really well. And the rabbits just absolutely love their new home. They're just doing so good. Hello, come to see me? Hello, Silver. It's good to see you.
This is tractor number 2. What we have done is we had an old wooden cage with 3 lids on it. We put a bottom, as you can see here. Cut the other bottom off. We put a platform in. Okay, it sits right on the ground. And we're converting it into a lawn rabbit tractor. Now, we've got a long sheet of vinyl covering that we're going to put over top of this tomorrow. And we're going to box this the rest of the way in. I got to get some more nails. This is our rabbit tractor number 2 converted from an old cage. I have 4 more of these I think we can convert.